Hi guys, welcome to Road to the Big Time, a show all about athletes' pathways to becoming a professional. Today, I'm sitting down with an all-round legend. Sitting down with me today, I've got star SANFL player. He's the skipper of the Central District's Doggies, and he's played over 150 senior games in the SANFL. I've got Luke Harbour with me today. How are you, Luke?
Hey, Vanders, good, thanks, mate.
All right, how we start all our episodes of Road to the Big Time, we'll get you just to give a brief outline of your pathway coming through the ranks as a junior.
Yeah, no worries. So I grew up in New South Wales in Griffith. I started my footy journey, I guess, playing Auskick when I was about 5 or 6 years old, and then started playing in the under-11s at the Griffith Swans when I was about 6 or 7. And then, my pathway was just playing junior footy for them up until I was 15 or 16. And my father works for the AFL. He's worked in the AFL for 25 years in community football in the Riverina in New South Wales. So we had to move. He got a job promotion, so we moved to Wagga Wagga. And I played 4 years of footy for the Ganmain Grong Madong Lions. Played some under-18 footy and senior footy there. And was lucky enough to win a couple of senior premierships in 2006, 2008. And that was where my sort of junior pathway was. I had a few in year 5 and 6, represented New South Wales at the school national carnival. And then didn't really make too many representative sides or anything in between then until the under-18s national carnival, where was lucky enough to play in the New South Wales ACT Rams or be in that squad in 2008. So 2009 moved over to South Australia to try and better my footy in the SANFL, and I've been here ever since. So this is my 12th year in the SANFL system.
Cool. What little extras were you doing at a young age to try and get a little extra edge over your competitors?
Looking back on it now, I guess I always had a footy in my hand, so I was always practicing bouncing or kicking the footy to myself, or at recess and lunchtime, before and after school, having a kick of the footy. So I was always I just love footy, so I was just loved having a kick. But looking back on that now, it was like hidden practice that you do, and it's good fun with your mates.
Yeah.
And then when I got to about 14 or 15 years old, I was still very, very small. And I remember my first under-16s game, I didn't get a kick, did not go near the ball, got knocked off the ball. I still remember it was my worst ever day of playing. And we were playing, that was in Griffith in the under-16s. I remember we were playing against a team called Ardlethan. And I sort of thought, geez, there's got to be a way that I'm going to have to try and be able to compete, because I didn't want to be involved in just making up the numbers. So I got myself super fit. I'd do a lot of extra running at home. I'd do a lot of extra running before training, after training, and managed to see a fair bit of difference that work rate and fitness was a big component. So I reckon that's the one thing that I've carried with me for a long time. And I've had some excellent coaches that have had that as their mantra as well, to be super fit. So I think the extra running and fitness side of it's something that's really helped me try and give me an edge.
Cool. Is there anything you wish you took more seriously when you were younger?
Not necessarily. I wouldn't change anything that I did when I was younger. I was pretty committed. Like, I'd sacrifice going to parties or anything like that. I just really wanted to play footy on the weekends and always wanted to play well. So my preparation most of the time, or if not all the time, was really good. So no, I wouldn't look back on it with any regrets at all.
Okay. Well, obviously, it's a little bit hard to train for footy on your own. Obviously, most of the time you have to have a kick with a partner or train in pairs. Do you have any good drills that kids can do on their own?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of doing things a little bit differently. So I know I've coached you a bit in the footy academy, and we've had the three rubber bouncy balls and practice juggling, and trying to bounce them on the concrete and then see if you can juggle against a wall. That's something that's really good for quick hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
They're probably the ones, like little golf balls. You can use golf balls, tennis balls, just things like that. But I also enjoy just going for a kick by myself as well, and being a little kid and practicing to be Eddie Betts, running to the boundary and kick some goals and chase after your footy and things like that. So I still do things like that and go for a kick myself if I haven't got someone to train with. But if you've got the option to definitely train with others, you definitely should, because you push yourself a lot more and that competitive edge comes out.
Yeah. Have you got, obviously you're the skipper of the Doggies this year. Have you got any tips for young players taking on leadership?
It's probably just to set a good example and making sure that if you are trying to get certain expectations across, that you follow them yourself. You can't go saying one thing and doing something completely differently. Just being yourself as well. It's important. Leadership can be quite different. Some people, there's so many different types of leadership, but I think if you be yourself and you follow what your coaches want you to do and the game plan that you want rolled out, that's probably the best way to do it.
Okay. Well, you mentioned before that you rate yourself in your preparation. What would be your go-to kind of meal or snack before a game?
I don't necessarily have any. I used to have pre-game rituals and things when I was younger. I used to always have mum's spaghetti bolognese and wanted that all the time before a game because I'd be a bit superstitious. But that probably stopped when I was about maybe 19 or 20 and had to move over here, look after myself.
Okay.
Knowing a good deal about nutrition and your own body is very important, because I don't like cheese or anything like that. Some certain dairy products can upset my stomach and things like that. So actually getting to know your body, what it responds to with different types of energy is really important. One of the go-to meals for me is bananas. I get a real boost of energy eating bananas. I'll probably have 2 or 3 a day, especially I have 1 or 2 before training, about an hour and a half before training.
Okay.
But I think it all comes down to a bit of trial and error and understanding how different energy systems in your body work. So it's a bit of a good resource or educational tool to go and have a look at that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Now, this last question, it's a bit of a tough one. I've seen you play a few times, and you're obviously a good player. What do you think prevented you from making the big step to the AFL? And is there anything you wish you did differently that might have increased your chances?
There's probably a number of things that I'm still trying to get better as a footballer now. So I reckon it was strength around the footy. My size probably wouldn't have helped, being a bit smaller. You look at the guys in the AFL like Caleb Daniel, who's a really small player. He's extremely clean, rarely fumbles. He's a fantastic kicker. Yeah, I've still got deficiencies in my game that I'm trying to work on to get better and better. So, yeah, that was I always dreamed about being an AFL player when I was a kid, but I wouldn't change anything now, being a school teacher and getting to play high standard footy in the SANFL. So that's probably one thing to pass on to younger people in whatever sport that they've chosen and a desire to play at a high level. If you don't make it, then there's always other aspects you can focus on with your work balance, and doing the job you love, and then still playing a high professional or semi-professional sport.
Yeah. Okay, mate. You're an absolute superstar for chatting to me today, but that's all the time we've got. Hopefully we get a start date for the SANFL soon, and so you can get back to playing your best footy again.
We're looking forward to it. We're back training now, so keep up the good work, mate. I think it's a great idea, so hopefully you get a few more people on your podcast.
Cheers, Matt. I've got plenty more questions to ask, so stay tuned for our next guest. This has been Road to the Big Time.